What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 88, and we start today's episode off with some player training here for Ruben Loftus-Cheek and also Iñaki Williams as well. Williams is now growing to an 80, so I don't think I'll bother training him anymore, but Loftus-Cheek will continue to get some training until he hits 80 himself. And we take on PSG for the first game of today's episode here as well, the first of two games in today's episode in the Copa Europe with Watford. Now, of course, last season with Watford, we had an absolutely fantastic season. One trophy we didn't win though was the Copa Europe. Last season it was our first Copa Europe, the Champions League winners taking on the Europa League winners, of course. We won the Europa League the season before, were then beaten by Barcelona. Of course, we did win the Champions League last season though, and that is why we have the Copa Europe this season, and we take on last season's Europa League winners, PSG. So taking on PSG here, hoping to add this trophy to our ever-growing collection. Couple of good chances for both sides early on. We would win ourselves a dubious penalty though in the 26th minute. Ross Barkley goes to shoot here, and well, this in my opinion was just never a penalty, because Matuidi doesn't make too much of the complaint, but is that really a penalty? I mean, the right arm is on the back of Barkley, but he's just miskicked the ball, hasn't he? I mean, to me, that didn't seem like a penalty. I thought that was a really debatable one at best. But either way, penalty to Watford. Of course, we chip it down the middle, but Marco Ryan-Tala, who scored in the Champions League final, scored the win in the Champions League final, that wonderful free kick from range, opens the scoring here, chipping the penalty down the middle as the goalkeeper dives to his right-hand side, and we do go ahead and make it. Watford 1, Paris Saint-Germain 0. So we take the lead through a dubious penalty, but chipping it down the middle, I've discussed it a few times before and I'll say it again, it is something I will do offline. Like, it's just, in my opinion, it's just kind of fair, really. I know that most people don't do it, and that's totally fine. There's no reason to do it, really, but for me, it's something I've done for a while now, so I just want to keep it traditional and keep it consistent like that. Still, it was Watford 1, PSG 0. PSG had a good chance there, but Butler made a really good save, and in the 35th minute here, Lukaku just shrugs off Marquinhos. Really poor defending from the Brazilian. Gets himself inside to shoot, but he's denied by his Belgian teammate Courtois with a really good save there, and it was still 1-0. And from the corner, it was crossed in by Ryan-Tala. The header goes up in the air from Neymar, and Aurier gets it off the line, and it is still Watford 1, Paris Saint-Germain 0. So we led at a break by a goal to 0. It was a pretty balanced first half, in all honesty. And in the second half, just 3 minutes after the restart, I gave the ball away with Joe Davis here, but Jeremy Haber, who I'd literally just brought off the bench, he had a fantastic World Cup for Canada. I want to give him some game time this year. What does he do? 4 minutes into his professional debut for Watford, he gets an injury, and you'll see after the game, he's broken his ankle and is going to be out for 3 months. I mean, that's just, like, how is your luck, man? Seriously, you're making your professional debut in football for a club with Watford after a fantastic World Cup with Canada, and 4 minutes in, you break your ankle and will be out for 3 months. That is just gutting, but still, just past the hour mark here, we could have doubled our lead. Iñaki Williams was played through by a sensational back heel from Romelu Lukaku, but unfortunately, he couldn't hit the target, and the shot went wide of the post and behind for a goal kick. But a few minutes later, PSG had a great chance to equalise here as Lucas is on the ball down the right-hand side, with Jockey and the Brazilian, but he still manages to squeeze the ball inside towards Sergio Aurier, who goes for goal. The net does bulge, but it's the side of the net he hits, not the back of it, and it does go behind for a goal kick. So still Watford 1, Paris Saint-Germain 0. With 18 minutes to go though, PSG would win themselves a penalty, and just like the one we won in the first half, it was very debatable. Neither defender seems to want to complain, but I mean, was our penalty a penalty in the first half, and was this a penalty for PSG in the second half? In my opinion, the referee made two major decisions in this game and got them both wrong. But I guess if nothing else, he evened it out a little bit. Maybe he knew the penalty in the first half wasn't one, wanted to give PSG one in the second half to even it out, and that's exactly what he did. So penalty to Paris Saint-Germain. We scored our penalty, PSG scored their penalty. Butland does go the right way after trying to put Costa off, but this was an inch perfect penalty. It goes right into the bottom corner, and Diego Costa, who unfortunately sent Canada out in the World Cup in the summer, he's going to be the villain here again as well, as he equalises with just 17 minutes to go, and does make it Watford 1, PSG 1. So Costa, the villain, does equalise for Paris Saint-Germain, but just a few minutes later here, we go on a break, and as Ross Barkley slides it through towards his former Everton teammate Lukaku, it's a great chance here as we go on a counter. Lukaku goes down the right-hand side here. He could have played his teammate in, but instead fake shots around his man, and Romelu Lukaku scored in the Community Shield, scores here against PSG. He basically won us the Community Shield with that late goal against Spurs, and he's going to win us the Copa Europe as well with this late goal against Paris Saint-Germain. So Lukaku with 2 goals already for Watford, but both of them very important because they'll pick us up 2 trophies trophies. First the Community Shield, now the Copa Europe. Lukaku scores the late winner, and the game does finish Watford 2, Paris Saint-Germain 1. So final score, Watford 2, PSG 1, and the Copa Europe has been added to our ever-growing trophy collection, which is filling up our cabinet right now. So great to win the Copa Europe. It was the only trophy we hadn't won with Watford since taking them over that we can realistically win in the first 3 seasons. So we win the Copa Europe. I'm very, very pleased with that, and it's effectively done now, isn't it? I mean, seriously, we've won pretty much everything there is to win with Watford, so really pleased with that. We get it done here, and the stats kind of lied in this game as well. They said that PSG had 11 shots and 4 of which on target. I don't deny that, but apparently we only had 6 shots in the game, which is absolute rubbish. We had way more than that. I know we at least had the same amount as PSG. I felt we played even better, to be honest, but either way, it was the 2-1 score, and that's the most important thing, and we do indeed win our first ever Copa Europe. Still following that confirmation of Jeremy Haber's injury, breaking his ankle 4 minutes into his club debut, and will be out for 3 months. I mean, that is just, like, you know, what can you do, and what can you say about that, man? Seriously, that's just absolutely gutting. So I want to give him some game time this year. Same with Djokovic. They were the stars of the World Cup with Canada in the summer, and I want to give him some game time this year, but now I'm reluctant to give Djokovic some game time because, I mean, if Haber gets injured 4 minutes into his debut of Watford and is out for 3 months after breaking his ankle, I mean, I dread to think what would happen with Djokovic. You know, he'll probably get his hand cut off or something. It's absurd, but still, following that, we did see some fantastic news. David Alaba could well be on his way to Vicarage Road as Manchester City accept a £45 million bid, and also bids came in for Danny Rose here from Athletic Bilbao, and also a side who I don't really know too much about, and also a bid came in for Corker as well, which we counter offer for all 3 of those bids for those 2 players. But still, David Alaba looks as though he probably will come to Watford now after City do accept a £45 million bid for the Austrian. Now, I know that as a left back, we're using Riedewald right now, and he had a good season for us last year at left back, played pretty well, but David Alaba is 7 ratings higher. He's a natural left back compared to Riedewald, who's kind of playing out of position right now. And I said before, like, David Alaba, he's the ideal fit for that left wing back role because of his really good stats, both when going forward and being a defender as well. So Alaba is just the ideal player to play in that left wing back role. I think he'd be a great signing and worth every single penny, but we'll have to wait and see. We've offered him a contract, and we'll see whether he does want to swap the Etihad Stadium for Vicarage Road. So we take on Spurs here for the second and final game of today's episode here, our first game back at Vicarage Road as Premier League champions, taking on the side who were champions the season before us here at Vicarage Road. Spurs had a better start in the first half, so in the second half we had to play a lot better, and in the 55th minute had our first real chance of the game as Konoplyanka gets on the ball, plays it through towards Loftus-Cheek down the right hand side, who takes it around his man and plays it back to Nathaniel Klein, the right back. He takes it past Nessa Chadley, crosses the ball to the far post, and when your luck is in, it really is in. Nathaniel Klein celebrates here, but it's not going to be his goal, and he knows that. He celebrates to the cameraman, but the cross goes over Michel Vorm in goal, and it hits the post and then hits Michel Vorm and trickles into the back of the net. This was a really, really fortunate goal. Though, come to think about it, it might not have hit the post, might have hit the defender there, but either way, it does hit Michel Vorm anyway, and going to the back of the net. It's obviously an own goal. Klein can claim it all he wants, but it's not going to go down as his goal. It's not his goal at all. It was a fantastic cross. It was a really, really wicked cross to the far post. Really awkward one for the goalkeeper to deal with, and of course he couldn't deal with it, but it is an own goal from Vorm though, and we do take the lead. So Watford 1, Spurs 0, but in this game, Spurs were playing far better than us, really. I wasn't having a good game controlling the players, and Spurs at least deserved to be on level terms, and they would have been had it not been for a fantastic performance from Jack Butland, who made save after save, and none better than this one. What a stop by Butland, gets up quickly as well, and stops the follow-up header as well. Spurs were playing far better than us in this game. We led through a very fortunate goal from an own goal from Vorm, caused by Nathaniel Klein. The away side deserved to at least be on level terms in this game, but instead, we did lead by a goal to nil, and should have wrapped the points up here 11 minutes before the end, but Vorm denied Konoplyanka with a really good save. But it was how the game would finish though. Final score, Watford 1, Spurs 0, and we do get the job done, and a winning start to the season does continue here at Vicarage Road. So good to see, but again, Spurs at least deserved a point in this game. And again, the stats kind of lied too, because it said Spurs only had 5 shots in the game, which obviously wasn't true. I think you saw more than 5 in those highlights there. But either way, I've had to say as well, this season the stats do seem to lie a little bit. Some of the stats just don't seem to get recorded properly. But either way, we won the game. That's the most important thing, albeit undeservedly. Still following that, Daniel Bentley's going to go back out on loan again. He's going to go to London Road and join the Posh on a short-term loan deal. That's fine with me. And also we reject a bid here from Michael Keane from a French side, as you don't want to get rid of our squad centre-back, who is really, really good for us. And also some good news to any episode off as well. We've broken the bank for him, but David Alaba is going to come in and join Watford here for £45 million. It's a very expensive transfer. He becomes our new record signing. It is over his valuation, but you'll see his stats right here. David Alaba is an awesome left back. He can play anywhere on the pitch. He's a really good player, and I think he will be worth every single penny of those £45 million. It's an expensive deal for him, but we're happy with that. We've got our man, we've got our main transfer target, and hopefully he will prove to be worth the money. That does end the episode though, guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode, then please do leave a like, that is much appreciated, and of course it really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.